Imagine waking up one morning feeling just a little off, something you can't quite put your finger on. Maybe you notice you're more tired than usual, or you catch yourself skipping your favorite breakfast because your stomach doesn't feel right. Maybe it's just a nagging discomfort, a little change in your routine that you brush off, thinking, "It's nothing. I'm just getting older." But what if those small changes are your body's way of waving a red flag, trying to get your attention before something much bigger happens? Today, we're diving into a topic that could save your life. The 4 warning signs of colon cancer you should never ignore. Colon cancer. It's a word that can send chills down your spine, especially if you're over 60 and have seen friends, family, or maybe even yourself deal with health scares. The truth is, colon cancer is one of the most common cancers in America, especially among older men. But here's the good news. You have more power than you think. By knowing what to look for, you can catch it early, get help, and keep living your life. So if you've ever worried about your health or you want to protect yourself and the people you love, stick with me. What you learn today could make all the difference. Let's start by understanding why colon cancer is so sneaky. It often starts quietly, with symptoms that are easy to ignore or chalk up to aging, stress, or diet. It doesn't always hit you with pain or dramatic changes overnight. Instead, it tends to whisper, dropping hints that something's wrong. So today, we're going to uncover those whispers, one by one, and talk about the 4 signs you should never, ever brush off. First warning sign: changes in bowel habits. Now, let's be honest. Talking about bowel movements isn't anyone's favorite topic. Most of us grew up thinking it was rude, embarrassing, or just not something you discuss. But as we get older, understanding our bodies, inside and out, isn't just smart, it's necessary. The colon is responsible for processing waste, absorbing water, and making sure what you eat moves through your system smoothly. When something goes wrong, it's often the first place you'll notice a change. So, what does a change in bowel habits really mean? Maybe you've always been regular, every morning at the same time, no surprises. Then, suddenly you're constipated for days, or you're going to the bathroom more often than usual. Maybe your stool looks different, thinner, looser, or you're dealing with diarrhea that won't quit. You might notice you're straining, or you feel like you haven't completely emptied your bowels. These changes can be subtle, but they matter. Sometimes they're caused by diet, stress, or medications. But if they persist for more than a couple of weeks, it's time to pay attention. For a man over 60, these changes are especially important. As we age, our risk for colon cancer increases, and our bodies don't bounce back as quickly as they used to. Ignoring these signs can be dangerous. I know it's easy to hope things will go back to normal on their own. Maybe you think, "It's just the cheese I ate last night," or "I'm just not drinking enough water." But if you notice your routine has changed and it stays changed, don't shrug it off. This is your body talking to you, and you need to listen. Let's move to the second warning sign: blood in your stool or rectal bleeding. This is a sign that's hard to ignore, but surprisingly, many men do. Sometimes you see bright red blood on the toilet paper or in the bowl after you go. Other times, it's darker, mixed in with the stool, or you notice your stools look almost black, like tar. Blood can come from many sources: hemorrhoids, small tears, or even certain foods. But when it's persistent, or you can't explain it, that's when you need to act. Blood in the stool is one of the clearest signals that something could be wrong with your colon. Colon cancers can bleed, sometimes just a little at a time, so the blood isn't always obvious. You might not see it every day, but if you notice it even once or twice, especially if it keeps happening, don't wait. I know the thought of talking to your doctor about it might be uncomfortable or even scary, but believe me, having that conversation could save your life. Doctors are trained to listen, to help, and to figure out what's going on. And remember, you're not alone. Millions of men have had this talk, and many have caught cancer early, simply because they didn't ignore the bleeding. The third warning sign is unexplained weight loss. Now, for most guys over 60, losing a few pounds might sound like a good thing. especially if you've struggled with your weight. But when it happens without you trying, when you're eating the same foods, living the same way, and the pounds just seem to melt away, that's when you should take notice. Cancer cells use up energy, and as they grow, they can steal nutrients from your body. That can lead to weight loss, even if you haven't changed a thing. Sometimes, weight loss comes with other symptoms: fatigue, loss of appetite, or feeling full after just a few bites. You might think, maybe I'm just stressed, or maybe it's my medication. But if you're losing weight without an explanation, and especially if it's more than 10 pounds in a few months, don't dismiss it. It's easy to downplay these changes, to tell yourself it's just old age. But your body knows what's normal, and when something's off, it's trying to tell you. One of the hardest parts of getting older is knowing when to worry, and when to let things go. We all want to stay strong, independent, and capable, but facing these symptoms head-on is the bravest thing you can do. You owe it to yourself, and to the people who love you, to pay attention, speak up, and get answers. The fourth and final warning sign is persistent abdominal discomfort. This can mean cramps, pain, gas, or bloating that doesn't seem to go away. Maybe you've had a stomach ache after a big meal, or you've felt bloated from eating too much salt. But when discomfort lingers for weeks, or seems to come and go without a clear cause, it's time to take it seriously. Colon cancer can cause inflammation, blockages, or changes in the way your gut works, leading to pain that's hard to explain. Some men describe it as a dull ache, others as sharp cramps, or just a feeling that their stomach is always unsettled. It's easy to blame these feelings on getting older, or to assume it's just part of life. But if you notice discomfort that won't quit, don't ignore it. Pain is your body's alarm system. It's a signal that something isn't right, and you need to pay attention. Let's take a moment to talk about why these 4 signs matter so much. Colon cancer is one of the most treatable cancers, if you catch it early. The problem is too many people wait. They hope the changes will go away, or they're embarrassed to talk about their symptoms. They tell themselves it's nothing, or they're too busy to deal with it now. But cancer doesn't wait. It doesn't care about your schedule, your plans, or your hopes for the future. The sooner you act, the better your chances. Now, I know what you might be thinking. These signs sound scary, but what if it's just something minor? That's a fair question. Many of these symptoms can be caused by common conditions, like hemorrhoids, irritable bowel syndrome, or diet changes. But here's the key. If the symptoms are persistent, unexplained, or just don't feel right, it's always better to be safe than sorry. A simple checkup, a conversation with your doctor, or a screening test can give you peace of mind and possibly save your life. Let's talk about screenings for a moment, because they're one of the best tools we have. Colonoscopies and other tests can find cancer before you ever have symptoms. For men over 60, regular screenings are recommended, especially if you have a family history of colon cancer or other risk factors. I know the thought of getting a colonoscopy can be intimidating. Maybe you've heard stories about how uncomfortable it is, or you're worried about the prep. But the truth is, the discomfort is temporary, and the benefits are huge. Finding polyps, catching cancer early, and getting treatment can mean the difference between a small procedure and a much bigger battle. So, what do you do if you notice one or more of these signs? First, don't panic. Remember, not every symptom means cancer. But don't ignore it either. Write down what you're experiencing, when it started, how often it happens, and any changes you've noticed. Make an appointment with your doctor and bring your notes. Be honest and open, even if it feels awkward. The sooner you share your concerns, the sooner you can get answers. If you're worried about seeing a doctor, or you're afraid of what you might hear, remember this. Courage isn't about pretending you're not scared. It's about taking action even when you are. You've lived through a lot. Good times, tough times, moments you never thought you'd get through. Facing your health with honesty and determination is just another challenge, and you're more than capable. Let me share a story with you, one that's close to my heart. A friend of mine, let's call him Bill, was always the toughest guy in the room. He could fix anything, lift anything, and he never let life slow him down. But one day he started feeling tired all the time. He lost his appetite and noticed he was losing weight, even though he hadn't changed his routine. He figured it was just age, maybe a touch of stress. But his wife noticed, and she pushed him to see his doctor. They found colon cancer, early enough to treat it, and today, Bill's back to his old self, stronger than ever. Bill's story isn't unique. Every year, thousands of men catch colon cancer early, simply because they paid attention to their bodies and took action. And for every story like Bill's, there are others who waited too long. Don't let that be you. If you're sitting here thinking, I haven't had any of these symptoms, that's great news. But stay aware and keep checking in with yourself. If you have a family history or other risk factors like smoking, obesity, or a diet high in red meat, talk to your doctor about screening, even if you feel fine. And if you've noticed any of these 4 warning signs, changes in bowel habits, blood in your stool, unexplained weight loss, or persistent abdominal discomfort, don't wait. Don't hope it will go away on its own. Act now, because your life, your health, and your future are worth it. Let's recap. The 4 warning signs of colon cancer you should never ignore are changes in bowel habits, blood in your stool or rectal bleeding, unexplained weight loss, and persistent abdominal discomfort. These symptoms aren't always dramatic, but they're important. They're your body's way of asking for help. Listen, act, and protect yourself. You've worked hard, built a life, and earned every gray hair. Don't let colon cancer steal your future. You deserve to feel strong, healthy, and confident, no matter your age. And now, a word of encouragement. You're not alone in this journey. Millions of men are facing the same questions, the same worries, and the same challenges. The smartest thing you can do is to stay informed, stay vigilant, and take action when you need to. Your health isn't just about you. It's about the people who care about you, the memories you still want to make, and the life you're still living. Don't let fear hold you back. You've got this. If this video helped you, don't keep it to yourself. Subscribe now, leave a comment about your experience, and share this with a friend who might need it. Your story could inspire someone else, and together we can make sure no one faces colon cancer alone. Remember, knowledge is power, and action saves lives. Subscribe, comment, and share, because every life matters, including yours.